Hello friends, welcome back to Simple Coder. We are back with a video. In this video, we will learn how we can integrate the searching, sorting and the pagination in our Flutter application by using the Node.js API. So this is our application. You can see here, we are having the data here, and in the top we are having the search panel. And from here, we can have the different pagination, like here right now we are on the page number 5 and we click on the next, it will go to the page number 6 and next, then it will go to the page number 7. In the same way, if we can go back, we can go there. The sorting we are doing on the basis of the name here, and in the same way we can search the data also here. We will search here Anita and we will click here. You can see here this data is coming here, and if we remove any data from here and if we click here, it will reset here. In the same way, we can do another search. We will put here Jody and we will press this one. You can see here data is coming here. So before starting the video, if you are new to our channel, subscribe to the channel by clicking on the subscribe button and click the bell icon to get notified about our latest videos. Thank you. So this is our application, and here we have the two folders. First one is for the API and the second one is for the app. So in the API, let's initialize our Node.js API, cd API, and from here we will write npm initialize, and it will initialize the API in our folder. So now here we have to install some of the packages, and first one will be our npm install body parser space course space express space mongoose. So all the packages has been installed here. So now here we have to create one file, index.js, and in this sample we are going to use the MongoDB, and from there we will do our pagination, sorting and the searching. And first of all, we have to write our variables. Constant express is equal to required express. Then we have our constant mongoose is equal to required mongoose. Then we have our body parser. Here we write body parser, and here we will write body hyphen parser. Here we have the course here for our cross origin scripting and all, so that we can access our API in our application all. I will write a course. Here we have to create the object for our express. We will write a constant app is equal to express. And then we have to write the port here. Constant port is equal to process dot environment dot port. If that not exists, it will pick it from our 4500 port number. Then here we will write app dot use body parser dot JSON. Then we have our app.use course. All this we are doing for our setup of our API and all, but if we are using in your existing project, then you are not required to do all these steps. Then here we have to connect with our MongoDB, mongoose dot connect, and we have to put the path here, as we are using the local host MongoDB / localhost 27017 / items DB, and this is our DB where we have our all the data, dummy data and all for that email ID and username. Here we have to use new URL parser true, use unified topology true. Then here we have to write our schema constant user schema is equal to new mongoose dot schema. Here we have two variables in our schema, name as string, email as string. Then here we will create our schema constant user is equal to mongoose dot model user schema. Now here we have to write the main code for our searching, sorting and the pagination, and for doing that we have to first write our endpoint for accessing the API, and we will write here app.get because we are doing the get request here, and here the endpoint slash users, and then we have our async request response. Here we have to define the constant, some of the variables that will come in our query strings is equal to request dot query. Our first variable will be our page, and default value we are putting here 1. In case user not provide any variable, then we will pick it as a 1 as a default value. Then we have our limit is equal to 10. That means the page limit, like we have 100 record, but we have to show the 10 record per request. Then we have our sort by, and we have our name. Then we have our order, in which order we have to show the results of the sorting, and default we have the ascending here. Then we have the search here, and by default it will be empty. Then here we have to create a condition here, that match condition for our searching and all. We will have here match stage is equal to empty object, and here we will check if search. That means if we are getting any search, then we are putting here match stage dot name is equal to, and we are going to use the regular expression regex search, and the options will be I. So what it means, like we are doing the filter for our all the documents in the data on the basis of this search criteria, and if the search is provided, it will match the document where the name contain the search name, whatever the search name we are providing, and it will be the case insensitive. Then we have our constant sort stage is equal to empty object. Then here we have sort stage, and we have to pass the column name here, that will be sort by is equal to order, and we will check here if it is ascending, then we will make the value as a 1 here, else -1. So this sort by and the order parameter will be used for the sorting in our database. Then we have to do something for the pagination, and here we have constant skip is equal to page -1 into limit. Then here we have our constant limit value is equal to parse int with this limit. So both this skip and limit value will be used for the pagination. Page number -1 into limit, and then it will skip that number of record from our query, and it will return us the other set of the records. And then here we have to do the try catch error. Here we have response dot status 500.json, and the message we will return here error dot message. Inside this try we will write here constant results is equal to await user dot aggregate, and from here we will write here $match with our match stage, and here we will change it to array. Then here second one will be our sort, and we will map it with our sort stage. Then here we have the one more, that is facelet, and that facelet is used for perform the multiple operation in our parallel within the same pipeline, and here it's count the total number of documents and retrieve the items on the basis of that. And here we write base set, and here we have the metadata count total. Then we have our data here. Here we have the skip, the skip value. Then we have our limit, and we will map it with our limit value. Then whatever the data we have to return in the list, and that we have to put in the project here, and we have to show the name, email, and from here we will return project, and from this project we have to pass the data here, this one. Then we have our total item, and in the total item we are getting the result in the array. We will put here array l at, and we have to pick the single value from there, metadata dot total 0. Then we have our total page, that is also required, so that on the basis of that pagination will be work total pages, and for that we will use the function here ceil, and we will use a divide here, and here we will use this array element comma limit value. Then here we have to pass the current page, whatever the current page number is, and we are using a literal here, and whatever the page we are passing in the query string, that we will return from here. We will use a pass int, and we will pass here page, and from here we will just return response.json results 0. So what we did here, we have created the endpoint here for the users, and from there we are just picking the variables from the query string, and then we are just putting that our match stage on the basis of the whatever the search we are passing here. Then we have our sort stage on the basis of whatever the sort by we are passing. Then we have our skip and limit value for the paginations. Then we are putting a try catch, and inside that we are just returning the results from our user.aggregate function, and there we are passing match, sort, facelet for the pagination. Then we have our project, and from that project we are returning whatever the data, this data. Then we have our total items, then we have total pages, then we have our current page, and from here we will return response.json and whatever the result we are getting. And from here we will just start our server, and we will write here app.listen port, and from here we will write console.log server is running on port, and we will pass this port number. So now we will run our application and we will see is it working or not. We will write here node.js. You can see here server is running on the port number, this one. So now let's open our Postman request. Here we will write localhost port number 4500/users, and we will just press the send key here. You can see here data is coming here, and here you can see the data is total items is 100 in our database, and here it is saying total pages 10 pages, and the current page is page number 1. So now if I pass some query string here, like if I put here page 2 and if I press here send, you can see here it is saying current page is 2 and data is different here. If I put here 3 and if I click on the send, you can see data is changed here. In the same way, if I change the size here, if I put here limit 50 and if I press send here and page number, I will change it to 1. Press the send here, you can see here 50 record is coming, and total page it will saying 2 page because total number of data we are having 100 and we divide the limit to 50 per page and current page is 1. If I press the 2 here, send here, second page is coming. Now if I put here 3, click send, so no data will come because that page number not exist. Same way if I put here page 1, and now if I put some search here, if I put here Jody, press the send here, you can see here data is coming, total item 1, total page 1 and current page is 1. So now our API is ready. So now let's move further and we will do the API integration in our Flutter application, and let's see. So now let's move further and we will do the API integration in our Flutter application. So here we have our application folder, and now here we will open the new terminal. If we will write cd app flutter create dot, it will create the Flutter application here. So we have to use 2 packages in our application. First one will be our HTTP and the second one will be our provider for our state payment for the pagination, sorting or search. Here we will write both the packages, HTTP and provider, and we will save here. So now we have to create first of all our provider file, and we will write here users service dot file, and we will write the class here, class user provider with change notifier. Here we have to write some of the variables here. First one will be our int type of current page is equal to 1, int type of total pages is equal to 1. Then we have our string type of sort by is equal to name, string sort order is equal to ascending. Then we have our string search is equal to empty here. Then we have our list users and initialize with our empty array. Then here we have the constructor user provider, and here we have to later on write the function, whatever the function will create. And here we have the future type of void fetch users async, and from here we will call the API final response is equal to await http dot get, and here we have to import here, import package http as http. Here we have to write URI dot parse, and we have to pass the full URL here. Here we will write http :// localhost 4500 / users / page is equal to $, current page, and limit is equal to $, and we will put here hardcode as a 10, and sort by is equal to $, sort by. Then we have our order is equal to $, order. Then we have our and search is equal to $, search. All the variables we are sending as a query string. Then from here we will check if response dot status code is equal to 200. That means success. And then we will map our data here. Final data is equal to JSON dot decode. From here we will import response dot body. Then we have our users is equal to data. this data here. Then we have our total pages is equal to data total pages. Then we have our current page is equal to data current page. Then from here we will call notify listener so that it will update our UI and all. In the else condition, we will just throw our error, throw exception, failed to load users. So now here we have to write three methods. First one will be for update search, void update search, and from this function we will pass our whatever the search query will be, and from here we will write search is equal to query, and current page we will write here 1, and we will call here fetch users. So what it will do when we call this function update search, it will make this variable search as this whatever the query we are passing here. Then it will make our current page as a 1 here, and then we will call here fetch users. And once this function is executed, then the notify listener will be called, then our UI will be automatically updated. In the similar way we have to do for the next page or the previous page. We will write here void next page if current page is less than total pages. Then we will write here current page plus plus, and we will call here fetch users. So what it will do, it will check for the current page, and on the basis of this total page, like if we have the current page is 10 but our total record is 10, then it will not execute. And if our current page is 9 and our total pages are 10, then this function will be executed, and then it will increment our current page, and then it will call this fetch user, and this current page will be called from here. In the same way we have our void previous page if current page is more than 1. We have current page minus minus, and we will call here fetch users. So now our provider file is ready. So what we did here, we have created the variables current page, total page, sort by order, search, then we have the users data, and then we have our constructor, and from this constructor we have to call this fetch users, so that once the page is loaded, this fetch user will be called and it will fetch the data from the API. And in the fetch users we are calling here await http.getRequest, and then we have our URI.pass, and we are passing our URL here, and then we are checking here if our response or status code is 200, that means we are getting the data from the server, and then we are just mapping with our user is equal to data of this data, whatever the data we are getting here. Then we have our total pages, current page, then we have our notify listener calling so that it will update our UI. Then we have our update search function, and that will be used for searching the data. Then we have the next or previous function for the going to the previous page or the next page. So now we will modify our main.dart file, and we will remove all the unnecessary code here. Here inside the run app we will call here multi-provider. Here we have change notify provider, user provider. Here we have the child, and we will map it with our my app, and that we will create here. We will make it as a stateless widget, my app, and from here we will call our material app. We have the title here, users app. Then we have the theme here. We are using here theme data, primary, swatch, and we are using color as a colors dot blue color. And then here we have the home here, and we will map with our users page, and we will create here. That also we will make it as a stateless widget, users page. Inside the build context we will use here final user provider is equal to provider of, and we will pass here user provider. In the bracket we have the context, And here we have our scaffold widget. Inside that we have the app bar, and here we have the title here, text widget, users. Then we have our body here. Inside the body we are having a column widget, children's, and we will give some padding, edge inset dot all 8, and we can see the design side by side also. So here you can see the application is working. So now let's continue coding here. In the child here we will use here row visit, then we have the children's, and we have the first one will be expanded child, that will be our text field for our search and all. Decoration we are using here, input decoration, label, search, it will be label text. Then we have our suffix icon, we are using here icon button, icon, icons dot search. Then we have our on press event, and from here we will call it later on. Then we have our on change event. From here we will also call later on. Same from the on submit also, value. So after this padding we will add the expanded here, and from here we have the child widget, and we have the list view dot builder. From here we have the item count, user provider dot users dot length. Then we have the item builder, and here we have the context index. From here we will return list style, title, text widget, user provider dot users, index, name. Then we have the subtitle here. We will use the same one, but here we will change it to email. Now let's save and see. So you can see here data is coming here, but it will only show the first 10 records. So now we have to add the pagination also. Here also you can see that search control is also coming here. So now let's add that controls here. After this expanded, we will put here if user provider dot total pages is more than 1, then only we will show the controls here. We are using a padding we are using a edge inset dot all 8. Then we have a child here, we are using a row visit. We are having a main axis alignment dot space between children's. We are putting a icon button. In the on press event we will check here if user provider dot current page is more than 1, then we will call here user provider dot previous page, else null. Inside the icon we are using a icons dot arrow back button, and from here we will remove this curly brackets. We will save it. You can see here back button is coming here because we are already on the first page. That's why this is disabled here, because here we added the condition if the user provider dot current page is more than 1, then only this will work, else it will be null here. And after that we have to write here text widget for showing the page number. page $, user provider dot current page of, here we will write $, user provider dot total pages. You can see here it is coming here, but the position is not correct because we have to give one more button here for the next. We will just copy this one and we will paste here, and here we will change the logic. We will make it as a user provider dot current page is less than user provider dot total pages. Then we have our next page, else null, and this icon we will change it to arrow forward. We will save here. You can see here it is working. So now let's click here. You can see page number 2 is coming, page 3, page 4. Also we will put the debugger also. So now if I put the debugger here and if I click the next, you can see data request is going. If I do again, you can see. So now if I press previous one, you can see the data request is going to the previous page. So now in the similar way, we have to do for this search also. And from here on press, we will just call here user provider dot search, update search, and we have to pass here user provider dot search, because this search value we will set from here user provider dot search is equal to this value, and on the submit we will call this and we will replace this value here. So now if I put any of the name, like if I put here John, and if I press enter from here, it will work. Also if I click on this icon, this will work. So here if I put one more user here, Anita, and if I click here, you can see data is coming. If I remove this data and if I press again, it will load all the data here, and the same way pagination will work here. You can see here it is all server side pagination. So that's all in this video. I hope you understand how that pagination, searching and sorting work with the server side, with our front side application and all. If you like the video, don't forget to subscribe channel, like, comment, share. I will come back soon with another awesome video. Thank you for watching the video.